My name is Barry Hughson. I'm the Executive Director of the National Ballet of Canada. I moved here 9 years ago from the United States, and I've been involved in dance my whole life. I started when I was a 10-year-old boy training and had a professional career, and then transitioned into arts management in the early 1990s, and I've been leading institutions in America and now in Canada since that time. It's a pretty stressful job, especially over the last 3 years of the pandemic. It's a desk job, so I don't get as much exercise as I probably should, and so I have to be sort of conscious of carving out time for my physical health. So I was introduced to Medcan through the partnership between Medcan and the National Ballet of Canada. We've enjoyed a partnership between the two organizations for many years. I think it's true of all of us that we can't be at our best if we're not feeling well. And certainly, I have a family and I have young children and I have a big job. And so, really, my diet, taking care of myself. I travel quite often, which makes it very hard to take good care from a diet perspective. Finding time for exercise, finding time for self-care. All of those things are really a priority. My staff and my family count on me to be healthy. I think the greatest impact that Medcan has had for me is in the collection of data, of health data, really comprehensive data about my physical health that helps me to make better decisions year over year. I spend a lot of time in my job studying data about audience behavior, and Medcan gives me the data I need to study my own behavior so that I can make sure I stay healthy. So I've always had white coat anxiety, so I've always been a bit nervous around doctors, and so the first time I came to Medcan, it was a little overwhelming, 4 or 5 hours of a deep dive into my health and wellness. But what I have to say all these years later is that there is certainly still anxiety leading up to the big annual health assessment, but the sense of relief that I feel after it's done and I have the information that I need really allows me to sort of move my life forward. I think a lot of people spend time going down rabbit holes on the internet, but through Medcan I get really important information every year. I encourage people not to avoid the annual health assessment. I think one of the things that made me most nervous in the first couple of years that I was coming was that moment at the end of the appointment when you sit across from the doctor and he has this folder in front of him and he opens it up very slowly. It feels like it's being opened up very slowly, and he begins to go over your results. And what I find now is that it puts wind in my sails. Like, I know what's going on. There's an immediate, if there's a requirement for a referral, that happens on the spot. And I leave the Medcan building feeling like I've got the tools and information that I need to have a really healthy and productive year.